You're born into a world of velvet and blood. Greenwich Palace, 1533, where the air hums with whispers of power and betrayal. Your mother, Anne Boleyn, is a queen with a crown that feels more like a noose, her dark eyes fierce but haunted. Your father, Henry VIII, is a storm in human form, his laughter as loud as his rages, his love as fleeting as spring frost. You're named Elizabeth, a princess heir to England's throne, swaddled in silks that can't shield you from the chaos to come. The court buzzes around you, a nest of vipers in jewelled doublets, their smiles sharp as daggers, and you're too young to know the weight of their stares. By 2, the world shifts under you like a cracked foundation. Your mother's accused of adultery, incest, witchcraft crimes that sound like stories to scare children, but they're real enough to send her to the tower. You don't see the axe fall, don't hear her final breath, but you feel the ripple. The court turns cold, your title stripped with a quill stroke, declared illegitimate, a royal bastard in a realm that worships bloodlines. You're shuffled to the countryside Hatfield house, where the walls are damp and the servants whisper. Your household shrinks, your gowns turn threadbare, and the king your father is a distant shadow, his new wife Jane Seymour, birthing a son who eclipses you. You learn early trust is a luxury you can't afford. The courtiers who once bowed now avert their eyes, and you catch their pity, their disdain like thorns underfoot. You're a red-haired girl with a beheaded mother, a living reminder of Henry's discarded passion. Yet in the quiet of your exile you find a spark. You watch the servants haggle over bread, note how power shifts with a coin or a threat. You overhear tutors debating theology, their words sharp with hidden agendas. Survival, you realise, isn't about crying for love, it's about seeing what others miss. You're a child, yes, but already you're learning to weave silence into armour to make your gaze a blade. The court may have forgotten you, but you're already plotting to make them remember. You're 9 now, tucked away in the countryside, your world a patchwork of books and betrayal. The tutors come stern men with ink-stained fingers, piling your desk with Latin, Greek, French, philosophy, theology texts that smell of dust and ambition. You devour them not for love of learning, but for survival, each word a brick in the fortress you're building inside. You're fluent in 5 languages before most girls your age can stitch a sampler, but emotions, those you lock away your heart, a vault no one can breach. Your motto forms like a vow in the dark, video et tatkeo. I see and say nothing. It's a child's creed, but it's ironclad, a shield against a world where a wrong word could mean a noose. You watch Henry's court from afar, a revolving door of wives, Catherine Howard, another head lost to the axe, her screams echoing in rumours that reach you. You learn from each one. Anne of Cleves divorced, but alive, teaches you diplomacy. Catherine Parr, kind but cautious, shows you how to navigate a king's temper. You study your father's moods, his whims that shift like storm clouds, and you see the men who flatter him, their smiles hiding knives. Don't get attached, you tell yourself. As stepmothers come and go, as courtiers rise and fall. Trust is a trap, and you're no fool to fall into it. Your half-siblings are lessons too. Mary, the Catholic sister, clings to her faith like a drowning woman to driftwood, her eyes burning with resentment. Edward, the frail prince, is a Protestant pawn surrounded by nobles who'd sell his crown for a dukedom. You nod to both, your face a mask, your thoughts a labyrinth they'll never navigate. You're not just a girl with a quill and a book, you're a shadow slipping through the cracks of their schemes, collecting secrets like coins. By the time you're a teenager, you've turned observation into a weapon sharper than any sword. The court may think you're just the red-haired bastard, but you're already playing a game they don't even see. You navigate the treacherous web of your half-siblings like a ghost in a haunted hall, each one a mirror of the fractures in your father's legacy. Mary, your elder sister, is a storm wrapped in rosary beads, her Catholic fervour a blade honed by years of neglect, her eyes flashing with the resentment of a dethroned princess. She's the daughter of Catherine of Aragon, cast aside like yesterday's feast, and now she watches you with a mix of pity and suspicion, her shoulder bearing a chip as heavy as Westminster Abbey. You nod to her Protestant critiques with feigned solemnity, your words neutral as unsalted bread, knowing one slip could ignite her wrath. Edward the Golden Boy, your younger brother, is a fragile idol on a Protestant pedestal, his lungs weak, but his tutor's fervent nobles circling him like wolves around a fawn, ready to parcel out the crown in bloody games. The stepmothers parade through your life like seasons of a brutal winter, each one a lesson in fragility and cunning. Catherine Parr stands out a beacon in the gloom, her touch almost maternal as she champions your education, slipping you books on theology and philosophy under the king's watchful eye. You feel a forbidden warmth in her presence, her fingers brushing yours in secret lessons, a sensuality in the shared whispers that hints at deeper bonds in a court rife with desire. But then she weds Thomas Seymour, and the air thickens with scandal his early morning visits to your chamber, his tickling chases through the gardens, his hands lingering too long on your adolescent form. You sense the danger, the political snare wrapped in flirtation, his ambition, a predator's gaze that could drag you into ruin. You flee her household reputation scorched but intact, the encounter etching a visceral scar. Men like him are wolves in velvet, their smiles hiding teeth that crave more than flesh. In this royal Hunger Games, laced with Latin conjugations and unspoken threats, you master the art of invisibility. You appear devout to Protestant visitors, solemn to Catholics, your nods non-committal as a diplomat's handshake. The family is a minefield, Mary's cathedral-sized grudges, Edward's encircled fragility, stepmothers who offer affection laced with peril. You survive by blending into the tapestry your mind a vault of observed betrayals, each one fueling your quiet resolve. You're not just enduring, you're forging yourself in the fire of their chaos, emerging, sharper ready to turn their lessons into your throne. You're summoned to your half-sister Mary's court in 1554, the air thick with the scent of incense and intrigue. But this is no familial embrace. It's a trap wrapped in royal velvet. Wyatt's rebellion erupts, Protestants railing against Mary's Spanish marriage, and your name whispers through the smoke like a curse. Implicated not by action but by existence, a Protestant heir in a Catholic queen's shadow. Guards haul you to the Tower of London, the Traitor's Gate looming under a March rain that soaks your gowns, chilling your bones as you step into the maw of history's most infamous prison. You wonder if this is the end, the family reunion where blood spills instead of wine, your mother's ghost echoing in the stone walls. Inside, the damp cells reek of despair guards, leaving you in shadowed corners meant to break your spirit, their boots echoing like thunder. But you don't shatter, you compose yourself like a sonnet in the storm, carving your name into the wall, with a steady hand, a defiant autograph in the face of death. You proclaim your innocence with plight steel, refusing to confess under threats that would make lesser souls weep. No screams escape your lips, no dramatic feints like the noble ladies of tales. Instead you weaponize, calm your gaze, unflinching as interrogators falter. Mary, torn between sisterly doubt and queenly paranoia, finds no solid evidence your careful silence has woven a net too fine to snag. Released to house arrest in Woodstock, the countryside views mock your confinement rats, fewer but watchful eyes endless. You learn anew. Family thrones are built on betrayal, innocence. A fragile shield and survival demands more than dry clothes, it craves cunning. This ordeal hones you, turning potential victim into a predator, in weighting your mental ledger, filling with names of those who tested you. You emerge not broken, but burnished paranoia. Your ally calculation, your crown. The tower didn't claim you. It crowned you in shadow, preparing you for the throne where mercy is a luxury and revenge a quiet art. You feel the weight of the crown before it touches your brow. Mary's death in 1558, unleashing a torrent of chaos across England, Protestants burned at stakes. Spanish alliances fraying like old rope, the treasury a hollow echo. The realm teeters on civil war's edge. Enemies circling like vultures over a wounded beast, and you, the red-haired survivor of towers and treacheries, step into the void. Not as the expected pawn married off to some distant cousin or quietly sidelined, but as the sovereign they never saw coming. You ride into London amid cheers that rumble like thunder, the crowd's relief palpable, a collective exhale after years of flames and foreign entanglements. No more burnings, no more wedding dramas. Here is a queen who reads Latin fluently and wields smiles like daggers. Your coronation in January 1559 is a frozen spectacle, London streets slick with ice nobles. jostling in uncertainty, treat you as monarch or as a fleeting echo of Tudor volatility. You stand resplendent in golden white, the gown a declaration of invincibility, screaming to the world, I endured, I rose. The ceremony's chaos mirrors the realm's fractures, but you command it all. Your voice steady as you pledge justice, stability, unity words laced with deliberate ambiguity, revealing nothing of your faith, your alliances, your heart. You won't bow to the Catholic Church's demands, won't wed for Spain's appeasement, won't let advisers puppeteer from shadows. Your speeches unsettle bishops, their seats shifting, under veiled threats of reform. By day's end, England awakens to a new era. Not a timid restoration, but a reign forged in fire. You've survived erasure imprisonment, the court's predatory gaze, and now you claim the throne not as apology, but as conquest. The nation hasn't just crowned a queen, it's unleashed a force who knows power's intimate contours, its seductions, its violences, and vows to hoard it, jealously bending the realm to your unyielding will. You ascend the throne, and the suitors swarm like moths to your flame proposals, flooding from France, Spain, Sweden, tall Catholics with beards, hiding ambitions, territories dangling like bait. In this era, a lone queen is an anomaly, a terror. What if you wield opinion's unchecked rule through cycles of blood and mood, refuse to cede the sceptre to some duke's grasping hands, but you've glimpsed the trap of matrimony in your father's serial unions, each wife a pawn discarded or beheaded, power diluted in shared beds. Marriage would demote you to consort, your voice drowned in a husband's decrees. Your realm bartered for alliances that crumble like autumn leaves. You play the game with masterful evasion. Flirting publicly like a courtier teases with a glance discussing unions as one might ponder a distant voyage, endless talk, no commitment. You reject them all in private chambers where candlelight flickers on maps of Europe, your fingers tracing borders you'd rather conquer than wed. Thus you birth the Virgin Queen, a persona not of celibacy's chill historians, whisper of heated liaisons in shadowed alcoves, breaths mingling in forbidden passion, but of divine autonomy, wholly unassailable, wedded to England itself. The realm is my spouse. You declare a poetic rebuff that masks your disdain for the paperwork of heirs and dowries. Suitors persist, sending portraits that capture their predatory eyes, gifts, heavy with implication, armies sometimes preceding diplomacy and clumsy overtures. You accept the flattery dance with ambassadors whose touches linger too long, igniting rumours of desire, then remind all. No ring binds you, no childbirth's peril awaits like your ancestors' graves. This refusal keeps Europe unbalanced, alliances fluid as quicksilver. No one predicts your next move, your independence a hoarded treasure. It's not mere stubbornness, it's intrigue woven with sensuality. Violence lurking in denied proposals, a masterstroke that turns vulnerability into velvet-clad dominion. You secure the throne, brushing aside marriage offers like unwelcome suitors at a masked ball, and turn your gaze to the viper's nest that is your court, lace-collared schemers, loyalists with hidden daggers, opportunists eyeing your crown like a ripe plum. Your council is a motley assembly, bearded men unaccustomed to heeding a woman's command, their whispers laced with doubt, but you spent a lifetime observing folly from the shadows, turning their missteps into your playbook. Ruling here is chess on a storm-tossed ship, blindfolded, yet you see every piece murmuring checkmate to savour their unease. Your arsenal uncertainty at a blade sharper than any executioner's axe. You dole out titles like crumbs to starving birds, reward sparingly as winter suntrust never let a courtier swell with confidence, and you prick it with a withering glance, or banishment to islands rains funds withheld like a lover's kiss. Even William Cecil, your steadfast adviser, deciphers your perhaps as a veiled denial doors left ajar to trip the ambitious. Decisions linger weeks, months, not from indecision but design, each delay binding them tighter to your whim. Nothing signed without your quill's deliberate flourish. Flattery flows like wine, but overstep and you roast them publicly, a tongue-lashing that leaves egos bruised as a brawler's face. Proximity to power is no sanctuary. One day you're sweet Robin, the next exiled, your pleas met with calculated silence. You perform queenship eyes, vigilant smiles, calibrated power, clutch close shared only in illusions. The court orbits you, a constellation of fear and fascination, their intrigues mere echoes in your grand theatre. You don't govern them, you ensnare them, turning politics into a seductive dance where betrayal lurks in every step, violence in every unspoken threat. You rule not just with edicts but with elegance, your wardrobe arsenal deadlier than any armoury, each gown a declaration of war on doubt and defiance. While noble women drape in velvet and pearls for mere status, you armour yourself in fabrics that defy gravity, massive ruffs framing your neck like a lion's mane, embroidery intricate as battle plans, jewels cascading like captured stars, all screaming I am the state unassailable eternal. Your face becomes a mythic canvas white lead makeup, lending a ghostly divinity skin pale as moonlit snow, wigs towering in curls that could conceal daggers projecting youth's vigour, despite lead's toxic bite migraines, a small price for immortality's illusion. Fashion is your psychological siege engine, white not for purity but invincibility, black not mourning but menace colours and silks chosen for impact, not vanity. You enter rooms owning the air, the rustle of your skirts a command, your presence a visceral force that makes knees bend and pulses quicken. Sumptuary laws ensure none mimic you silks and hues, forbidden to lesser ranks, a clear edict dress finely but never as me, or face the tower's chill embrace. Portraits are your propaganda controlled with an iron fist, no mid-blink frailty but an official mask of ageless poise. Painters bound to templates that freeze you in 1563's Bloom Elizabethan Photoshop, erasing time's cruel etchings. Beneath the opulence lies cold strategy. If you appear otherworldly, challengers hesitate, their blades stayed by awe or fear. In a male-dominated realm, your image transcends mortality, a goddess queen navigating intrigues with supernatural grace, where sensuality simmers in the curve of a bodice, violence in the glint of a brooch. You don't wear clothes. You wield them, turning silk into sovereignty, pearls into power, ensuring the world sees not a woman, but a legend forged in fabric and fire. You reign like a vigilant spider at the web's heart, micromanaging the kingdom with trust issues sharper than a headsman's blade, your hands touching every thread of power. While lesser monarchs delegate foreign policy or religious edicts, content to lounge in opulence, you plunge into the fray. Letters cross your desk for personal revisions, speeches scripted in your own elegant scrawl, military campaigns dissected with a general's eye portrait, scrutinised and dashed if they hint at frailty. Even proclamation script must pass your gaze. Does this font whisper weakness? Your council, anchored by the ever-patient William Cecil, submits plans only to receive them back, etched with marginal notes, a barrage of queries demanding why it wasn't executed yesterev. Labouring under you is perpetual plight terror courtiers, navigating your glares like storm-swept seas, ambassadors sweating through silken doublets. Parliament tiptoeing around your refusals 25 years. You ghost their pleas for marriage clarity, turning evasion into policy art. Correspondence is your passion. You devour missives, rewrite them wholesale if too timid or audacious, your words striking like cavalry charges laced with veiled threats that draw blood without steel. Intelligence flows through Francis Walsingham's proto-spy network, a web of whispers, intercepting plots, cracking codes with ruthless precision. If treason brews, you've already underlined their letters in crimson, ready for a dramatic council unveiling. This iron grip isn't caprice. It's forged from a lifetime of betrayals you'll distrust. A fortress against nobles' schemes, allies' fickle loyalties, humanity's base urges. You transform queenship into a solo symphony, HR enforcer quelling courtly squabbles, war strategist plotting invasions, branding maestro crafting your myth crisis mediator, averting disasters with a quill's flick. Complainers, let them try ruling for a heartbeat. They'd crumble under the weight you bear alone. Your control, the glue binding a fractured realm where sensuality hides in encrypted love notes, violence in executed warrants, all under your unyielding watch. You face Spain's 1588 folly, their assumption of England's frailty a grave miscalculation. Philip II's colossal navy, bloated with gold and godly zeal, sails against your realm's patchwork fleet, meagre coffers and your own unwed heirless status. The odd scream defeat your island, a fragile bastion held by parchment treaties and Protestant prayers, yet you don't yield to panic. You armour yourself in resolve, march into Tilbury where troops camp in tense vigil. Clad in white velvet, overlaid with a breastplate, you embody a war goddess, veiled as bridal confection, your speech a thunderclap. I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but the heart and stomach of a king. A raw declaration that you're small female unwed, yet poised to unleash havoc on invaders, your words igniting morale like wildfire through the ranks. You're no battlefield berserker. Bold not mad, but your presence is a clarion England defiant under your banner. Fate twists with meteorology's whimsy, the armada once monolithic fractures under your nimbler ships, harrying fireships, erupting in infernal blazes that scatter galleons like leaves in gale. Protestant winds howl, driving survivors to drown in churning seas, or limp homes sodden and shattered, their dreams of conquest frozen in northern swells. You seize the triumph minting medals that proclaim divine favour. God evidently English now commissioning portraits, where you stand triumphant hand on globe, the victory not mere military, but mythic and narrative coup, elevating you from underestimated spinster to empire slayer. Never dismiss a queen in pearls and plate. This rout humiliates Europe's mightiest, your realm's coasts. Inviolate the event, a pivot where sensuality meets strategy and your armoured allure violence in the armada's watery graves. It's your masterstroke, blending grit with grace, turning peril into legend that echoes through ages. You defy the monarch's prime directive, producing an heir unmarred by scandal, opting instead to innovate, sidestepping the ritual entirely your throne, a solitary bastion against dynastic demands. For 44 years courtiers murmur the eternal query, who's next? Your retort a cryptic smile, vagueness your veil succession, a shadow play where clarity invites daggers. Naming an heir prematurely is akin to gifting a rival a funeral invitation scripted in your own blood. You've tasted the tower's chill, for lesser suspicions no sequel appeals. So you dangle ambiguity like a noose, thwarting plotters who might rally behind a successor's banner. Mary Queen of Scots emerges as threat incarnate, her Catholic allure, a magnet for conspirators, her letters, a web of treason you unravel with Walsingham's spies, her execution, a visceral stroke head severed amid gasps, yet you hesitate the blade's fall, echoing your own vulnerabilities. James of Scotland lurks in your periphery, a Protestant pragmatist, but you withhold endorsement, keeping diplomats scribbling futile speculations, advisers pleading in vain. Parliament's prods earn snaps, mind your own unless you plot my end, a touche laced with menace, your isolation a shield against spotlight thieves. This strategy isn't recklessness, it's chess mastery moral ambiguity. Your gambit betray kin for stability, hoard power till death. Behind the throne's gleam you ponder the void, your childless state a defiant emblem, ensuring no one eclipses you until the final breath. Succession isn't legacy's chain, it's your labyrinth where desire for continuity wars with savagery of self-preservation intrigue, coiling like smoke from executed plots. You outmaneuver assassins and matrimonial snares, unwittingly birthing the Elizabethan Golden Age, a cultural supernova where England blooms from rainy isle to dramatic epicenter poetry, and plays exploding like fireworks over the Thames. William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, pens his masterpieces under your aegis. Macbeth's bloody ambition mirroring courtly knives, Hamlet's ghosts haunting like suppressed treasons. Midsummer Night's Dream weaving romance's chaos with teenage folly's fatal twists. You patronise troops despite advisers' grumbles of moral decay, from double entendres and scant scripture, seeing theatre as soft dominion. If crowds applaud stage monarchs triumphing over anarchy, they're less prone to riot your image, subtly exalted in clever queens and thwarted villains. Poets idolise you as eternal goddess sonnets dripping with Petrarchan fervour, your virginity a mythic shield against time's ravages. Explorers like Raleigh and Drake christen colonies Virginia in your honour, returning with maps. Plunder and foes, their voyages blending ambition with piracy's raw edges. Swords clashing on foreign shores, blood mingling with salt spray. Science surges, navigation charts redraw the world. Astrolabes gleam in candlelit studies. You're caught a nexus of intellect, where forbidden desires simmer in alchemical labs, violence lurking in duels over heretical theories. England morphs into cultural powerhouse, your curation. Key-controlling narratives surrounding yourself with wits who amplify your reign's splendour. You're no passive muse. You're the architect, blending historical grit with artistic fire, where sensuality pulses in Shakespeare's verses, intrigue in explorers' tales, supernatural whispers in folklore's shadows. Under you, the realm doesn't merely endure, it performs a stage where resilience shines through passion and peril, your era, a testament to humanity's defiant spark. You command a court devoid of matrimonial chains or emotional shackles, yet romance simmers like a cauldron over flames, a high-stakes pageant where hearts are pawns and desire a double-edged blade. Robert Dudley strides in tall and magnetic, his ambition, a fire that mirrors your own, his proximity igniting whispers of love-lust or calculated liaison. Is it passion's heat in stolen glances, bodies brushing in dimly lit corridors, or a masterful flirt to unbalance Europe? You keep the realm guessing, parading him with titles and lands like trophies close enough for rumours to swirl affairs murmured in alcoves, breaths quickening in shadowed embraces, yet distant enough to deny matrimony's snare. His wife's suspicious fall downstairs, bone-cracking thud echoing intrigue fuels, scandals blaze. But you neither wed nor withdraw, turning potential ruin into political alchemy. Dudley is but one thread in your tapestry of courtly love, a weaponized ballet where French, Austrian, Swedish suitors court with portraits capturing hungry eyes, gifts laden with implication. You smile demurely delay with artful grace until winds shift or boredom claims them negotiation a seductive game where denial stings like a lover's slap. Spain placated with Habsburg teases, France distracted by Valois promises, England reassured by your realm spousal vow, poetic, pragmatic, veiling your aversion to shared power. Your love life isn't melodrama, it's performance art confusion, your ally, hope your bait speculation, a fog shrouding your control. In this dance, sensuality pulses in lingering touches, violence in spurned suitors' veiled threats, supernatural whispers of cursed unions haunting your choices. You wield romance as sceptre, turning personal yearnings into imperial strategy alone, yet omnipotent. You enter the 1590s, no longer the vibrant redhead enchanting envoys and terrorizing foes, but a sexagenarian marvel in an age where 40 spells antiquity, your wigs concealing thinned locks, teeth sparse as forgotten promises temper a legend forged in fire. Age doesn't soften you, it tempers steel to razor edge. Courtiers treading eggshells around your outbursts, ambassadors feigning ailments to dodge ill tidings. Council meetings erupt with hurled gloves, shoes, insults, slicing like daggers, your mood a whirlwind where defiance meets decay. Your circle dwindles, loyalists felled by time or exile, newcomers paling against ghosts of Cecil and Walsingham, suspicion blooming like nightshade in your isolation. You remind all who wields the sceptre gowns heavier with jewels, make up a thick mask of myth over wrinkled skin, transforming from a relatable ruler to Gloriana Nation's eternal mother, perhaps immortal. Yet you rule undiminished, devouring reports, inking decrees, stalling choices, to keep realms in suspense, your will unbowed by frailty. Health wanes, but you defy bed rest, standing days on end, fearing horizontal surrender to the grave prophetic as exhaustion finally claims you. You could have eased into twilight with flattery's balm delegated to youth's scripted memoirs of triumphs. Instead you clutch reins till fingers fail, aging as a pearl-adorned tempest body, fragile but spirit savage. Courtiers quake the realm, whispers she's ancient, yet woe betide us when she departs your later years, a gritty testament to power's raw grip. You enter 1603, having outlasted suitors, counsellors, foes and doubters, your 4-decade reign a monument to solitary might, yet even your indomitable frame yields to time's siege. Decline creeps in physical and spectral health. falters caught murmurs swell your voice turns cryptic, laced with Tudor sorrow's weight. You shun the bed for days, perched defiant in chair, or on feet servants imploring physicians, beseeching ladies weeping rivers, but you emblem of control dread the prone pose as death's invitation, a premonition etched in weary bones. Exhaustion triumphs bearers conveying you to Richmond Palace's bed. Amid flickering tapers and anxious vigils, the embers of your extraordinary era dimming. No thunderous farewell, no stone-carved mandate, just the hushed close of a sovereign who ruled unyielding, vulnerability veiled till the end. Yet in fading you orchestrate one last intrigue pressed for succession. You gesture toward James of Scotland, a subtle nod, exploding like muted pyrotechnics sealing the Tudors' twilight and Stuart dawn. You depart as you lived, solitary, unbowed, dictating terms to mortality itself, the curtain falling not on a vanquished queen, but a Colossus descending her plinth legacy, a blaze that defies the grave's chill embrace. You bequeath not mere throne, but blueprint for immortality, husbandless, heirless, dynastyless, yet proving a woman's rule could dazzle with brilliance unmatched. 44 years transmute England from debt-drenched, faith-torn chaos to confident Colossus, culturally ablaze globally. Dreaded, dodging blades, holy wars, patriarchy's chains that bellowed, wed and submit. You spurn them, flourishing in defiance. Legacy transcends Golden Age or Armada's watery rout. It's your meticulously sculpted persona, enduring centuries as living legend Gloriana, the Virgin Astrea, goddess monarch, holy sovereign. Portraits proliferate posthumously, speech's canonized image, the epoch's emblem, historians dissecting your ire, hesitations, vanities, yet conceding your solo feats in a denying world. Imperfect, manipulative, ruthless, distant you, clung to power past prime, estranging allies, suspending the realm in limbo. Flaws fuel the engine myth, inseparable from the gear-grinding woman. Sans king or progeny, you rewrite edicts, compelling posterity's pursuit, your era named eternal. Queens fade, but you, Elizabeth of persist, debated odd singular. You stand on the endless wind-scoured grasslands of Mongolia, where the horizon stretches like a lover's endless promise yurts, dotting the landscape like scattered whispers, horses thundering past in herds that outnumber the souls who ride them. From this raw, untamed expanse, something unnatural stirs, a city rising like a phantom. From the steppes, not just any settlement, but the heart of history's vastest land empire, pulsing with the blood of conquest and the shadows of ancient spirits. Imagine Genghis Khan the Tempest in human form is life, a perpetual raid under starlit skies, powered by the savage thrill of domination, lie anchor to stone when glory lies in the gallop toward China. Persia, Russia, seizing treasures with blade and bow, the cries of the fallen mingling with the wind's howl. Yet even this nomad king craves a fixed point, a place to hoard the spoils of his brutal campaigns, where silk from distant markets tangles with the scent of fermented mare's milk and captured artisans whisper forbidden crafts under guard. Between feasts of victory and the next dawn's march, Genghis selects the Orkhon Valley's sacred ground, haunted by echoes of Turkic and Uyghur empires long crumbled, where pastures roll green and rivers flow like veins of liquid silver, ideal for a Mongol's need space to graze water, to quench an earth, ripe for foundations that defy the wanderer's code. You feel the intrigue in his choice, a subtle betrayal of nomadic purity, as if the land's ancient guardians, whispering winds carrying curses of forgotten Khans, approve or condemn this hubris. Genghis builds sparingly, a man of motion over masonry crude foundations laid like battle scars, a temple rising where shamans invoke sky gods with blood offerings, a market where traders haggle over spoils stained with the violence of acquisition. It's a seed planted in fertile soil watered by ambition's sweat, where supernatural omens flicker eagles circling ominously, hinting at empire's rise and fall. You sense the tension in this embryonic capital, a contradiction blending the sensual freedom of the steppes with the intrigue of walls that cage the wild heart. You inherit the throne as Ogedei Khan Genghis's pragmatic son, and transform his father's humble marker into a blooming monstrosity Karakoram erupting from the valley like a beast awakened. Walls rise thick and unyielding roads carve the earth like veins pulsing with trade's lifeblood. Plumbing snakes beneath a marvel of captured ingenuity, flushing away the filth of empire's underbelly. You summon foreign artisans, Muslim architects with blueprints etched in desert sands, Chinese bureaucrats wielding brushes like weapons, all dragged from conquered lands, their skills forged in chains, blending cultures in a cauldron of forced harmony. At the centre, your tent palace defies nomad simplicity. Silver fountains engineered to spurt fermented mare's milk at a lever's pull, the liquid arcing sensually in the air, intoxicating guests with its creamy tang, while whispers of supernatural craftsmanship hint at alchemical secrets stolen from distant sorcerers. Yet this isn't mere luxury. It's a brutal assertion we slumber in felt but command the globe emissaries from Baghdad and Paris, kneeling in the same hall, silk caressing steel camels, brushing crusaders' armoured flanks, the steppes' wild essence clashing with urban intrigue. You feel the violence in its bones walls, built on bones of the defiant markets, thriving on loot from razed cities where betrayal simmers in every bargain. Karakoram stands as paradox incarnate, brick and bone defying the nomadic soul, a power hub where folklore's eerie spirits, forest wraiths luring the unwary, mingle with human savagery, heightening the sensuality of conquest spoils, the intrigue of cross-cultural plots. You, Ogedei, craft not just a city, but a declaration the Mongols once deemed too feral for foundations now dictate destiny from this wild heart where desire and domination entwine eternally. You delve into Karakoram's throbbing core where extravagance masks a savage underbelly. The city a brazen emblem of Mongol dominion. We may dwell in tents of felt, yet we clasp the world's throat. Emissaries converge from Baghdad's sun-baked minarets, and Paris's Gothic spires bowing in unison within halls, where silk drapes conceal blood-stained maps, their knees grinding into floors polished by captive labour. You sense the fusion spices from the east mingling with the metallic tang of forged steel, camels' grunts echoing crusaders' armoured clanks, the steppes' feral wind whispering through urban corridors laced with intrigue. This isn't mere hub. It's a cauldron of cultures where Muslim scholars draft decrees beside Chinese engineers plotting aqueducts, their collaborations born of conquest violence throats slit in distant battles. Families shattered for this forced synergy. Supernatural threads weave through shamans, invoking sky spirits with ritual blades, omens in eagle flights foretelling betrayals, a cursed relic perhaps buried beneath the palace, luring ambitious souls to doom. Sensuality pulses in the markets where traders' hands brush in heated bargains, forbidden desires igniting in shadowed yurts, while political machinations simmer, alliances forged over fermented milk daggers drawn in whispers of rebellion. Karakoram's essence is power's raw display, a message etched in stone and blood. The nomads who once ravaged horizons now orchestrate empires blending savagery with sophistication, where every feast hides a potential execution, every embrace a prelude to war. You confront Karakoram's profound paradox. A metropolis sculpted from brick and the bones of the vanquished, an anomaly thrusting against the nomadic ethos that birthed it. How can wanderers deemed too untamed for permanence morph into architects of stone? This city shouldn't endure yet. It rises defiant in the wilderness's embrace. A testament to Mongol metamorphosis, where felt tents yield to towering walls, the steppes' boundless freedom caged in urban grids. You feel the tension winds carrying ancestral spirits' laments, whispering of betrayal to the old ways, supernatural echoes of forest wraiths, cursing this hubris with visions of crumbling empires. Legacy lingers like smoke from extinguished fires, Karakorum, the fulcrum where Genghis's blaze consumed worlds. Ogadai channeling it into structures that fused savagery with splendor sensuality in the curve of silver fountains. Violence in the foundations laid over battlefields' graves. Intrigue in the halls where plots hatched like serpents. Though time erodes its stones, scattered by later Khan's whims, its spirit haunts history are a reminder that even nomads crave anchors, blending desire's heat with domination's chill, where human resilience defies the wild forging order from chaos's maw. You emerge into the chaos of Sengoku Japan in 1569, born as Chacha, amid the smoke and screams of civil war, where daimyo clash like thunder gods their ambitions, carving rivers of blood through rice fields and cherry groves. Your father Azai Nagamasa, a warlord of fleeting glory, allies with Oda Nobunaga, only to betray him, igniting a blaze that consumes your world. At Kanegasaki, the retreat turns, nightmare flames lick the night sky, arrows whistle like vengeful spirits. Your family's flight a desperate scramble through mudslick paths, the air thick with the metallic tang of spilled life. You, a child clutched in arms, feel the visceral terror bones jarring with each horse's gallop. The supernatural chill of forest wraiths seeming to pursue whispering curses of endless strife. Ekizen falls next. Your uncle's stronghold, besieged walls crumbling under Nobunaga's relentless fury. Cannons roar, splintering stone and flesh. The moat turning crimson as defenders' bodies pile like fallen leaves. You huddle in the keep's shadows, the sensual warmth of your mother's embrace, clashing with the cold dread, her tears salty on your skin as betrayal's blade strikes home. Nobunaga's forces breach swords flashing in torchlight. The violence raw and unforgiving heads roll, screams echo your father committing seppuku in a final act of honour, his blood staining the tatami. Orphaned, you and your sisters are spared, but the scars etch deep power dynamics, searing your soul women as pawns in patriarchal games, resilience born from savagery's forge. This crucible tempers you, a girl rising from ashes, eyes hardened against the world's deceit. You navigate the rubble of your shattered lineage, drawn into Oda Nobunaga's orbit, like a moth to a blazing pyre. His court a whirlwind of ambition, where power's scent mingles with incense and blood. As a young woman of striking beauty and sharper wit, you catch his eye perhaps in a stolen moment, amid cherry blossoms, your kimono whispering against skin, a sensual promise in the air thick with courtly intrigue. But Nobunaga ever, the revolutionary, gifts you not as bride, but to his vassal Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a peasant risen through cunning, his eyes burning with hunger for more than conquest. Hideyoshi's world engulfs you, his rise a tapestry of battles and betrayals, swords clash in moonlit fields, the violence visceral as limbs sever and war cries echo. Yet in private chambers, his touch ignites forbidden fires your union, a blend of political calculation and raw desire. You bear him heirs first. Tsurumatsu lost to fever's cruel grasp, then Hideyori, the golden child symbolizing stability in a realm of shifting sands. As consort you wield shadow influence, whispering strategies in silk-draped nights, your fingers tracing maps where empires rise and fall, empowering the marginalized women like you, navigating patriarchal storms with agency born of survival. Intrigue coils around you, rivals plot in hidden alcoves, Supernatural omens like comet streaks foretelling doom, but you thrive, turning trauma into triumph. Your sensuality, a weapon violence, a memory fueling defiance against the daimyo's savage games. You stand as Yodo Dono in Hideyoshi's shadow court. Your influence a subtle venom threading through the silk of power where the air hums with the clash of ambitions and the whisper of silk on skin. As his consort, you don't merely adorn his side. You shape the regime from within your council, delivered in intimate chambers where candlelight dances on bare shoulders, blending political acumen with the sensual pull of shared secrets. Hideyoshi ages his mind erratic, fixated on legacy. Like a man clutching at fading embers, his Korean invasions drain coffers, and live ships splintering on foreign waves, soldiers' cries echoing across seas stained red. You watch resources hemorrhage, the court's tension thickening like blood in winter frost, knowing without him the Toyotomi teeter on oblivion. Your son, Hideyori, a child in this maelstrom, becomes your fortress. You nurture him as heir, weaving alliances with daimyo whose loyalties waver like reeds in storm. Intrigue coils, vassals bow in fear or greed, but you sense the undercurrents, whispers of rebellion in tea houses, supernatural omens, like ravens circling Osaka Castle, foretelling betrayal's blade. You've survived siege's savagery, the visceral crack of bones under assault, and now you prepare a queenmaker in disguise. Your kimono hiding the iron will that defies patriarchal chains. Women like you, marginalized voices rise through cunning, empowering kin with agency forged in fire. Hideyoshi's delusions mount, but you remain the anchor, your presence a defiant thread holding the clan against the encroaching void. You face the void of 1598 Hideyoshi's death, ripping open a chasm in Japan's fragile peace, his 5-year-old son Hideyori adrift in a sea of predatory daimyo, the Toyotomi clan teetering like a castle on sand. As Yodo Dono, you claim the helm at Osaka Castle, not as crowned ruler. Feudal codes bar women thrones, but as regent in shadows your will, the unseen force steering the ship through tempests. You safeguard empire and heir, issuing commands from silk-draped halls, where incense veils the scent of intrigue, receiving diplomats with a gaze that pierces like a hidden blade. Hideyoshi's council of 5 regents, ambitious tigers sworn to unity, fractures under ego's weight. Tokugawa Ieyasu strikes first, forging marital ties, positioning pawns, flouting decrees with a smile masking venom. You counter in silence, building networks behind veils, loyal lords drawn to Osaka's grandeur, Ronin, with grudges against the rising shogun monks chanting prayers laced with political fire. Your court blooms cultural splendour. Poets weave verses of Toyotomi glory, artists capture Hideyori's youth in ink that defies erasure, ceremonies lavish with gifts, binding allegiances tighter than chains. Supernatural whispers haunt temple bells, tolling omens of doom, spirits of slain kin urging defiance. Visibility as woman ruler invites peril in samurai realms. Your commands a threat to the order, yet you persist, mother-turned-monarch, where sensuality lingers in courtly dances, violence in the clash of unseen swords, your regency a defiant stand against oblivion's tide. You sense the fragile peace of early 1600s Japan, cracking like ice underfoot, the surface polished, but the depths a churning abyss of ambition. Tokugawa Ieyasu, the wizened fox in Edo's lair, consolidates with cold precision, his eyes gleaming with the hunger of a survivor who has outweighted empires. In 1603 he crowns himself shogun the Tokugawa era, dawning like a shadow over Toyotomi banners, erasing your clan's name, stroke by insidious stroke. You Yodo Dono maintain a facade of cordiality. Letters flutter between Osaka and Edo, like wary birds' visits staged, with stiff bows, gifts exchanged heavy with unspoken threats, but the performance phrase one nod from shattering into open war. Osaka's gates remain barred, your armies honed like blades in the forged treasury, bulging with gold guarded by loyal shadows. Hideyori, now a striking youth, embodies continuity, drawing sidelined samurai to your banner, their whispers of discontent fueling your shadow court. In 1611, Ieyasu's summons to Kyoto stings like a veiled insult, pay homage, boy. You accede with conditions ironclad, ensuring Hideyori appears not as vassal, but equal his presence, a defiant spark in the assembly's tension. Ieyasu's amusement curdles to Aya Harmony's illusion vanishing like mist. He commands Toyotomi's defences dismantled. You refuse the air thickening with accusations of rebellion. Your envoys parry with denials edged in menace while a monk's giant bell in Kyoto chimes doom its inscription, praying eternal Toyotomi rule, a war cry masked as piety. Supernatural omens swirl comets streaking like accusatory fingers spirits murmuring of bloodshed in Osaka's halls. Sensuality fades in courtly dances now laced with paranoia, violence brewing in every glance. The boil point nears your preparations a web of steel and will against the encroaching storm. You brace as diplomacy crumbles in 1614. Tokugawa Ieyasu, unleashing winter's fury on Osaka, his army, a colossal serpent coiling around your fortress 200,000 strong, a message etched in steel, yield or perish. The world anticipates swift collapse, one city against Japan's mightiest host, but they overlook Yuyododono, the unyielding core. From Osaka's stone heart you seize command, poring over maps in lamplit chambers, your voice steady, amid generals' clamour, decisions forged with the calm of a siege-scarred soul. Hideyori dons ceremonial armour, his presence a morale blaze, yet all know your hand guides the blade. Defences harden under your watch walls, thickened like callous skin motes, deepen to swallow foes. Tokugawa's waves crash European cannons, thunder splintering night with fire and shrapnel, undermining earth in gritty sabotage, starvation's noose tightening. Yet your garrison roars back cornered lions, slashing with desperate ferocity, the violence visceral limbs sever in melee blood, freezing on snow screams, echoing supernatural wails of vengeful kami. Months grind on frustration gnawing Ieyasu's ranks, until he proffers peace, a trap veiled as mercy, cease if outer bulwarks fall. Exhaustion and internal pleas force. Your hand walls raised moats, drained vulnerability, exposed like a bared throat. Was it trust folly or coerced surrender? The siege lifts, but war's embers smoulder your mistake. A scar sensuality eclipsed by survival's grim arithmetic intrigue, deepening in the uneasy hush. You awaken to winter's truce revealed as deception spring 1615, heralding Tokugawa Ieyasu's return not as arbiter but annihilator, his forces descending on Osaka's stripped defences moats, filled walls humbled like a warrior disarmed. This summer onslaught spares no mercy, a blitz to obliterate Toyotomi echoes, numbers overwhelming supplies, endless resolve ironclad. No unbroken rally remnant samurai with ancestral blades, running harbouring grudges like hidden flames, allies cornered into valour. Hideyori 21 and forged in shadow assumes command's mantle, yet your guidance permeates, transforming every nook into bastion. Women boil cauldrons for scalding defence. Artisans hammer tools into spears, the castle reviving with defiant roar. Battles rage, feral surprise, sallies in night's cloak blades singing through flesh, blood soaking earth in visceral torrents, the air thick with the gunpowder's acrid bite and screams echoing supernatural wails of angered kami. Tides tease reversal, but arithmetic betrays Tokugawa's horde engulfs, breaches the final veil on June 4th. Flames devouring Osaka like a vengeful spirit. You retreat to the fireproof tower, sun at side, spurning escape's disguise as servant humiliations sting worse than steel. You've endured childhood sieges, horrors, palace plots, serpentine coils, defied history's titans. Now with inferno clawing gates, you choose seppuku's ritual grace blade, piercing with mother's resolve air, following in unity. Toyotomi extinguishes in crimson smoke, Tokugawa victorious yet unable to shatter, your unyielding essence, your end self, scripted a defiant blaze against empire's crush. You appear to outsiders as mere widow or defiant mother, but within Osaka's unyielding walls you embody peril. Incarnate a tactician whose grasp on power eclipses many a armoured lord. In a realm denying women's sovereignty, you seize it veiled chambers morphing into war rooms, where maps unfurl like lovers' secrets. Your fingers tracing battle lines with a sensuality born of intimate knowledge. Hideyori fronts as clan head, but you are the sinew, directing information's torrent, balancing ledgers with merchant's precision, moulding his edicts with a whisper's force. Private sanctums pulse as command hubs, envoys kneel before your gaze sharp as katana's edge. Diplomatic dances laced with intrigue, alliances sealed in silk-bound pacts, betrayals sniffed like incense's subtle shift. Your moves deliberate schooled in ego's pitfalls from Hideyoshi's grandeur and Ieyasu's chill calculus childhood ashes, forging armour against haste. Influence spills beyond courts. Osaka's folk revere your tenacity, samurai bow. To your command foes grudgingly concede your might. You've transmuted wounds into shields, a symbol defying widowhood's fade louder, keener lethal in silk. Your fixation on Toyotomi perpetuity eclipses all joy, ease safety secondary to this crusade resistance, not mere opposition to Tokugawa, but rebellion against history's erasure of women like you. Ieyasu fears not the castle, but the woman wielding it, her presence shattering order's fragile veneer with visceral force. You witness Osaka's flames subside, the Toyotomi name flickering toward oblivion. Also Tokugawa praise Ieyasu's victory, a pyre where loyalists are hunted like shadows in dawn. Kin scattered or beheaded in ritual displays of dominance, their blood soaking earth as warning. Osaka Castle Defiance's last bastion rises anew in Tokugawa guise, purged of rebellion's taint, stones reshape to erase your imprint. Yet obliteration falters. Your essence Yododono seeps through cracks like resilient vines, whispers persisting in samurai halls, and women's quarters' tales painting you as tragic sentinel mother perishing with sun in honour's blaze rather than kneel. Some brand you instigate a pride's flame, igniting clan's doom, but consensus crowns you formidable, a force unyielding. Centuries later, legacy divides scholars reckless or valiant. Your intransigent sealing Hideyori's fate or safeguarding his dignity. Negotiation's path untaken surrender, spurned perhaps, but capitulation meant erasure. A fade you defied with thunderous fall. Folktales spectralize you, a ghost haunting Osaka's corridors, vengeance's chill breath on intruders' necks, supernatural retribution for betrayal's sting. Kabuki stages and novels immortalize your poise, tragic beauty intertwined with complexity sensuality, in silk's whisper, violence in seppuku's grace. Your story endures not in pacts or crowns, but nation's memory, a woman born to ambition's ruins, surviving dual sieges, pre-adolescence, navigating court's serpents, birthing heirs, then ruling veiled for decades, all while men underestimated or sought to chain. Failure came, but loud public self-authored, ensuring Toyotomi's echo, and your defiance resonate eternally. You trace Yododono's echo through time's corridors, Tokugawa chronicles, smearing her as scheming, arrogant, perilous traits unbecoming a demure woman, a convenient scapegoat veiling shogunate's dread. Modern lenses refract anew. In Japan she's exalted as samurai history's rare shaper, not curtain-veiled, but battlefield-bold, seizing power unbestowed by birth or bed, wielding it till world's denial crushed. Museums in Osaka enshrine her saga artifacts, whispering of maternal fortitude, political shrewdness, wartime valor letters, dissected choices debated, influence a beacon for the overlooked. Cultural veins pulse with her stage plays, dramatize pride's tragic arc period. Epics capture silk-clad defiance, anime stylizes her as icon of resilience. She's kin to power wielders like Hojo Masako, the nun shogun, or Empress Jito, yet singular, no royal blood, no formal scepter, yet sway, surpassing contemporaries. Name etched in museums' glass statues near Osaka, evoking her gaze's steel textbooks, framing her as maternal general widow leader empire defier with sheer volition. Legacy isn't resistance alone, it's assertion grasping authority unoffered, brandishing it boldly, standing unbowed as walls crumbled. Yododono transcends Osaka's last guardian. She's Toyotomi's final blaze, illuminating fiercely against the encroaching night. You step into the fray of historical scrutiny where Yododono's saga cleaves scholars like a katana through silk, her defiance a prism refracting views from reverence to revision. Tokugawa scribes branded her manipulative, haughty, perilous a woman, unbound by propriety, her traits a veil for the shogunate's terror, easier to vilify one widow than admit fear of her unyielding grip. Modern eyes recast her as samurai law's anomaly, a shaper of destinies not from shadows, but the storm's eye power sees San's birthright, or nuptial gift held till fate's cruel twist, debates